Now come on, come all to this tragic affair. Wipe off that makeup, what's in is despair. So throw on the black dress, mix in with the lot. You might wake up and notice you're someone you're not. If you look in the mirror and don't like what you see, you can find out firsthand what it's like to be me. So gather round, piggies, and kiss this goodbye. I'd encourage your smiles, I expect you won't cry.
Bruh, I have seen some I have seen some serious I mean, 10 months and a horrible static plasma void is not my idea of a pleasant vacation. I have turned ghoulish myself being there from eating nothing but ectoplasm, pretty much. Do you know what it's like in the underworld? It's dead. Everything is dead. Well, I mean, death is nothing new, especially to people who like Pokemon, because in Pokemon, death is everywhere. Yeah, it is.
Death in the world of Pokemon is everywhere. Most trainers in Pokemon try to avoid it, others can't stay out of its way. Every day they fight a new war against monsters, poisons, kidnappers, soul suckers, and life trainers. There's a lot of ways to end up dead in these games. The fact that anyone survives is a miracle bestowed by the pity of Arceus itself.
So to start off the month of Spoopy, we are going to count down the top 10 creepiest death facts in Pokemon, because there's a lot of them. Yeah, believe me.
Number 10. As a psychic Pokemon, it's important to have a big, powerful brain, and Alakazam has that in spades. In fact, throughout its life, its brain cells continually multiply, allowing it to remember everything from the time it was born, to its evolutions, to all its attacks it's learned, and even the memories of trainers. But that ability sadly comes at a hefty price.
Now, can you imagine remembering every single moment that has happened to you since you were born? Well, most people might see it as a gift, but I think there's a reason we don't remember certain things. Like, who wants to remember all those awkward things we did in high school?
And our 70 to 100 years of memories can drive a person mad. And that's just our lifespan. Who knows how old Alakazam can grow to be? So if you think about it, Alakazam has a grisly fate, as its skull only has so much room, and if its brain is constantly growing, well, you can figure out the rest.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
Number 9. Well, here we are again, caught up in Egyptian mythology. And like old mythos, the Egyptian ones tend to focus a lot on the underworld and the dead. Now, Pokemon bases their characters off mythological beings all the time, but it's usually more sci-fi or European, so the emergence of Umask and Kofagrigus was a bit of a surprise to me. It's actually said that Kofagrigus will attack people and turn them into mummies. And while that is a little disturbing, I think the trophy goes to its pre-evolution Umask. Now imagine yourself passing away, and as you make your way to the great beyond, you're caught, trapped in a ball, forced by the person who imprisoned you to fight with Pokemon non-stop. Unsettling, isn't it? That is unfortunately Umask's fate. Umask is not a ghost-type Pokemon, it's actually a ghost of a human who died. And if you already didn't feel bad enough for this Pokemon, it also carries a mask that used to be its face when it was alive. It's also said that when it looks upon this face, it will cry, remembering the time when it was once human and not a slave to one.
Man, maybe Team Plasma was right. We need to let go.
Number 8.
You know, I feel like poison Pokemon don't get enough love. I mean, of course they're nasty, but they seem like the most dangerous type. I mean, what could be more hazardous than pollution and sickness? Nothing, I would think, with all the hand sanitizers that's being sold everywhere.
So let's talk about this grody little sludge monster called Grimer. Every Grimer is like a little environmental biohazard. Its sludge is so toxic that the ground it walks on dies, never to support life again. That's horrific! Can you imagine what this is in real life? Grimers would be held in so much captivity trying to keep them away from civilization. Either that or they'd be hunted into extinction. But what's worse is that when it evolves into muck, its toxicity increases, being able to pollute an entire lake with a single drop of its slime.
And honestly, that is our own fault. There are a lot of man-made Pokemon, and Grimer and Muck are no exceptions. They evolve from our own pollution, and then seek their revenge as these crazy blobs destroy our natural Earth. Ta-da!
Number 7. So what we have here is a happy little spike ball, who turns into a walking, spiky Jeepers Creepers, who has all the charm of Jonathan Crane. Cacturns are supposed to be based off of a cactus and a scarecrow, and although they are known to be still during the day, cacturns are anything but during the night. In Pokemon Sapphire, it's explained that whenever a wanderer travels aimlessly through the desert at night, a group of cacturn will follow that person, biding their time until the weary traveler cannot move anymore. Now, the entry just stops short of telling people what happens when that moment arrives, but I'm pretty sure we all know what happens after that. Well, I mean, technically we can't ever truly know, but I'm pretty sure they eat them. Yeah, they eat them. Think about it, it's the perfect revenge.
Think being a vegetarian is cool and super healthy? We won't be thinking that when the cactus demons come and dine our human flesh!
Number 6. You'd be pretty hard-pressed to find any Pokemon cuter than Spoink. It's a cute little gray piglet that bounces on its tail. Plus, it's based off the Pearls Before Swine Bible verse. Seems innocent enough, right? Well, that's what makes its secret all the more tragic.
You see, Spoink doesn't bounce energetically on its tail because it wants to. It does it because it has to.
You see, in almost every Pokedex entry, it states that the shock of it bouncing on the ground causes its heart to beat.
So if it were to stop bouncing, it would... Yes, it would die.
Why, Game Freak? Why would you kill such an adorable piece of bacon? I mean, obviously they didn't kill it, but why would you tell us something this disturbing?
That's like an entry saying Azurill slings its nutrition-filled tail at enemies, but if it slings it too hard, the tail will explode and all the nutrients will be sucked out of its body, leaving a leathery, dried corpse. I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. That was awful.
Also, the remembrance of this entry sparked the horrific creativity of fan artists, drawing normal-looking Spoinks who have stopped bouncing, aka dead Spoinks.
What is wrong with you people? You're sick. You're sick people.
Number 5. Heatmores and Durants are both found on Victory Road in the Unova region. These guys are almost like an unofficial duo, much like how Zangoose and Seviper were in Hoenn. In their case, Zangoose and Seviper were based off of a mongoose and a snake who are known to be common enemies. Heatmore and Durant are based off of an ant and an ant-eater. So you know where this is going. Heatmores eat Durants, but they do it in the most gruesome way possible. So Durants are bug/steel type. It says that they travel and attack in horde to protect themselves from Heatmores. Heatmores, on the other hand, are fire types, and they're natural predators of Durants. If they're able to break the Durant's army, they will eat them. But not just in one gulp or anything. See, Durant's bodies are made of steel. Nothing can penetrate them. but a Heatmore will use its flame tongue to burn through the metal exoskeleton of the bug and consume its insides. Gruesome, vile, and altogether a creepfest.
But hey, that is nature, and yes, she is scary.
Number 4. Cubone, the lonely Pokemon. This little guy has a tendency to keep to itself and avoid social situations.
So why is he such a loner? Well, probably because he's still traumatized by the death of his mother. Yes.
Yep, he got a dead mother. And how does he honor her memory? By wearing her skull on his head. Yeah, that helmet is its mother's skull. Oh my god, that's nasty. Then to make this whole origin even more disturbing, in the original Red and Blue versions, a Marowak is killed by Team Rocket and is haunting the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. So in this version, she just doesn't die. She is killed. Again, Game Freak. Why must you torture our baby cuties and us? You're sicker than the fan artists.
You're a sick, sick game company.
Number 3.
The Ghost Lamp Trio will always be some of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 5. They have a creative design, they have a neat theme, and they're super creepy, meaning they will kill you.
Litwick is said to drain a person's life force while pretending to be a guide. What a little douche! Chandelure seems to be a little more malevolent in the fact that they actually suck out a person's spirit, burn it for themselves, and leave the bodies behind.
Yeah, just picture that. Floating chandelier, bunch of bodies lying around.
But who takes the cake is our little buddy Lampent. Now we can only assume that Lampent takes spirits the same fashion that Chandelure does. Only difference is Chandelure will actually go after people, which is scary. But Lampent are said to lurk around hospitals, waiting for people to die. Could you be any more of a creep, Lampent? That's like the dude who got in trouble for standing outside senior homes dressed as a Grim Reaper. It's like mocking you, saying, yeah, I know you're about to die. I'm about to burn ya. Number 2.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. That is, unless the children die of an unsettling and untimely death. 'Cause they might.
It's like all of Game Freak got together and thought, what do kids like to see in games? The destruction of the planet. No, children dying in crazy ways. How about we just, no, children like dead things. Yeah, when these kids in the games aren't running away from home to become the Pokemon Master, they're busy being killed. So let's start with Phantup. Phantup are these cute little tree ghosts, but for some reason always look either scared or sad. Which is understandable, because they're said to be the spirits of children who have gotten lost in the woods and attached themselves to old tree stumps.
Now that brings up a question. Do you think people actually intentionally try to create these Pokemon by leaving children out in the woods by themselves? That is hard. Why do these things keep coming out of my mouth?
Anyway, as crazy as that is, let's move on to Drifloon. We talked about how it's a ghost but isn't based off of anything supernatural, so it's a bit of a waste of a ghost Pokemon. But despite how ridiculous a Pokemon is based off on a balloon, its goofiness wears off as soon as you learn what it likes to do when it's not drifting through the sky aimlessly. This Pokemon, referred to as the signpost for wandering spirits, prefers to spend its days kidnapping children. It's revealed that in the Japanese version of the game, it explains that Drifloon is actually carrying kids to the world of the dead. Like, why? What? Why does it do that? There is absolutely no reason.
And where is the world of the dead anyway? Obviously, it's a physical place if it means the Drifloon is carrying them there, unless they meant spiritually, in which they carry them all the way up into the sky until they suffocate. There I go again. I can't stop it.
number 1. We all know that the legendary Pokemon are almost like gods in the world of Pokemon. We've talked about it before, everything from the natural elements, to human thoughts and emotions, to even space-time and God itself. They have what seems to be like an unparalleled control over the world and the people that live in it. And that is why the impending fate of all life lies on the unsteady wings of the legendary Yveltal. According to the Pokedex, when Yveltal reaches the end of its life, it absorbs the life energy of every living creature before becoming a cocoon to sleep for 1,000 years.
Okay, let's think about this for a second. Imagine Goku's Spirit Bomb, in which it draws energy from every living creature on Earth for one attack, but tenfold, in which all the energy drained, which is every person, Pokemon, plant, and every living thing on Earth, is dead.
And it actually never singles it out to just the planet Earth. This could be the fate of the entire universe. And even though it's never mentioned in any Pokemon-based websites like Cerebi or Bulbapedia, I think Yveltal is based off of the Smurg, a phoenix-like Iranian mythical bird believed to be so old it has seen the death of the universe 3 times over. In some legends, it's said to have lived 1,700 years gaining knowledge before plunging itself into flames, only to be reborn later. Now, if that doesn't sound like Yveltal's Grandmaster plan, I don't know what does.
Now, I know you guys probably wanted something more creepy for the number 1 spot, but you cannot deny how uncomfortable this fact is. We would all die because of a giant flying dark cosmic bird. Give us a break, Arceus! Oh. Arceus, would he die too? Well, there you have it. This is what happens when you learn all this stuff from being dead for a year and then come back and you're expected to do your same job as what you were expected to before. It's a little hard.
You know what, guys? I always knew there had to be a lot of death in these games. The existence of these magical animals to begin with assures the fact. But I had never imagined it to be this horrific, especially for kids. But honestly, in the end, kids are finally gonna dawn on the fact of their own mortality.
I don't want to grow up. And I don't want to do it 100.
Whether it be from having a family pet die, watching The Lion King, or playing one of Nintendo's most popular franchises ever. So yeah, it's dark, but what isn't nowadays? No matter how daring or realistic you make this series, Pokemon will still be enjoyed by children and adults alike.
So I guess eating food from the natural world turns you back human. Thanks, Greek mythology! So my little mushrooms, thank you all for joining me. Stay safe in the spoopy month, and thank you for sticking with me all this time. So stay breezy and keep on the poke grind.
And if your heart stops beating, I'll be here wondering, did you get what you deserve? The ending of your life, and if you get to heaven, I'll be here waiting, baby. Did you get what you deserve? The ending if your life won't wait, then your heart can't take the sound. You heard the news that you're dead. No one ever had much nice to say. I think that I liked you anyway. You take me from the hospital bed. Wasn't ever granted exactly what you planned, and wasn't ever granted.